For the Africa Prosperity Summit, I've been very happy today because people have given feedback that we hoped for. First thing is with the content, making sure that it's rich, it's very insightful, because these are investors, these are founders. They could be anywhere doing anything, but they choose to be here today. And we always want to make sure that when they leave here, there are insights that they can action on. And that was evident in the feedback that we've gotten today.
Is this your first time at APS?
Yes, this is my first time.
Yes, my first time attending actually.
No, that's the second time.
It's my first time.
It is actually. I'm quite impressed.
It's actually my second time. I attended last year as well.
I am here to learn, listen and observe.
I think it's one of the places that you can meet a lot of great founders, a lot of people in the ecosystem that are coming with different solutions and different ideas.
People do ask us, why do we do Africa Prosperity Summit? We think it's very necessary sometimes for us to get off the dancing floor, because we are always investing, operating, working with founders, investing money, exiting, and doing all sorts. But it's also important to see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is what this is about.
There is a $60 billion dilemma we have to contend with. Question 1. How can we better as an ecosystem prepare companies and orchestrate listings on local and international exchanges? Then what size of startups should we be building so they can sell to corporates locally? What will the African liquidity innovation look like? And how do we create more liquidity?
Ross, I'll start with you. Could you maybe talk us through what does exit readiness look like at MoneyPoint today?
If you don't have a good business, there's no point in spending a lot of time on exit readiness. And obviously, if you have product market fit, if you can show people data on growth, good unit economics, path to profitability, I think that's the foundation for everything.
What you've seen so far are strategic acquisitions. We've seen less of early stage funds exiting to the bigger, larger, funds. But we're still behind emerging regions like India and LATAM. We don't have a deep enough IPO market, for example, where investors and VC companies can plan towards an exit. But we're making good progress.
Great timing to actually be talking about liquidity, considering the ongoing relative stability in Nigeria as sub-Sahara Africa.
2030, I'm hopeful for at least 5 exits within some companies that I know that are performing very well. Hopefully, it might not be a huge exit, more likely secondary.
I think we're going to see exponential growth, but I wouldn't dare make a prediction. But I think things are growing. It's about putting the right things in place.
2030. Oh, this is an interesting time for the continent. We could see a material improvement in exits over the next 5 years relative to the last 5 years.
As long as the deal flows are there, and the robust ecosystem continues to evolve, we would see greater than 20.
Why is it important for that local support and local capital to be there?
Because local capital understands local founders, understands local problems. I think I've learned also the hard way doing early stage investing in Africa. For me, it's difficult to really understand the problems the Kenyan family has, right? I just don't know. I should be honest about it. I don't know the impact a manager can have in solving these problems. So it's very important, I guess, as we've seen every ecosystem evolve, it's local. And you could sprinkle, external capital on it, that's fine. It accelerates things, but I think the main basis should be more local.
Liquidity in the ecosystem is a black box. Now, this is not just an intellectual problem. It's super important because the ecosystem purportedly has matured enough to the point where any conversation that we want to have about this sustainability, performance, or direction needs detailed information, not just on capital inflows, but how capital is flowing back out.
Growing the pie to me means investing in a way that you're creating more and allowing more people to actually participate. Is about investing thoughtfully, inclusively, in more people and places of opportunity so that the pie is not just bigger, but is enjoyed by a bigger part of society.
Absolutely. I think from the first session so far, we've talked about liquidity on the continent. We've talked about exits. We've done a comparison with India and seeing our similarities and how we can also grow the pie using similar models that they used and what worked for them.
How well do these models actually fit African startups, especially those that have irregular cash flows or long-term sales cycles?
I think one of the models that especially works for Africa tech companies is a system that can collect, like you said, revenue-based financing, whether that's usage of Uber rides with car financing. I think a lot of these platforms that actually can integrate into hard assets and actually track the usage over time. I mean, that's how I think you capture the longer term growth potential while at the same time closing the risk gap between, what could go wrong over time as well.
I think the future belongs to AI, at least the immediate future. Every investor here needs to understand what AI can do, and AI itself is evolving. AI today is different from AI of 2 years ago. The potential of AI to either make their businesses great, a lot more efficient, or to unfortunately lose their businesses in the next 4 to 5 years.
When we come to Africa and we look at investing, when we talk to companies, to SMEs, the message we want to cut across is look at what was done over there that we know about, but let's try to find a way to adapt it to our continent and to our own traditions and cultures and way of doing things. We can put together and tell these companies, well, it's not just about giving you money and telling you, go figure it out. And you listen to their perspective and you bring yours and you work together on a way to achieve it.
Comparing Africa to the performance of every other continent, I would say seed.
Africa was a startup. We are very much in early stage. We're still developing.
I think Africa would be in the late seed stage.
I think Africa will still be in seed.
So I would say we're currently at seed and looking to get to the growth stage.
For you, what are the kinds of things that you're seeing these days that are becoming blockers for startups or companies who want to take their ambitions a step further, but it's just not happening yet because of how they're constituted?
Where I think we have a problem is compliance and enforcement, right? Because for compliance, there's some cultural thing around, maybe in a general sense, Nigerians may not want to keep to rules, looking for how to escape the rules, and that's because our enforcement, that's judicial enforcement, regulatory enforcement, is not as strong as it should be or as it is in other countries.
If you think through maybe perhaps traditional companies and how you'd run a company, you think about things like your product, you think about things like your route to market, you think about the way you sell your product, you think about investor education. Somewhere in all of that also is a big piece that we need to cure, which is if I ask everyone in this room right now to maybe buy a stock or buy shares in a company, they would struggle just because our route to market and our channels for distributing is not quite there yet. It takes you back to technology.
I mentioned most of the best companies, even globally, take a very long time to exit. And what BII has been doing in the ecosystem is to think about interim liquidity events. Let's at least prove the model that these companies are worth something. One of the ways we've done this through is secondaries. So we've done really interesting work around secondary transactions. We sell onwards to other people that want to come in. And that's important because that sets one sort of a marker within the journey of an early stage company.
Innovation, entrepreneurship are the things that are going to drag this country kicking and screaming out of poverty. And it's going to be done and built here by young people in this room and many other young people across these markets. There is significant domestic capital. In 2001, we didn't raise a dime from abroad. Every single piece of the $200 million that we raised came from 9 institutional investors in this country. So if we could do that far back, absolutely everything is possible here.
The panels have been very, very enlightening. And we see a lot of possibilities, and the potential for Africa is massive.
Now you're leading 1,000+ people. You have a lot of engagement. You have investors talking
Yeah,
to you
yeah,
now.
absolutely.
What has changed?
I think I've come to the realization that at the kind of scale that Money Point is, if you don't tell your story, it will be told for you. And most times, such socializations on both policy and state level is about storytelling. You want to ensure that when anybody mentions your company or your name, they can put a face to it and they can have a good impression about you. Otherwise, it will be filled with something that you don't want. So that has certainly changed. So here I am on this stage.
What do you think would come first, a $1 billion IPO or a $1 billion acquisition in Africa?
$1 billion IPO.
$1 billion acquisition.
Oh no, I think $1 billion IPO.
I think it's quite likely both will happen.
Acquisition.
I would say the $1 billion IPO.
I think an IPO.
So if you were to headline 2030 exit, what would the headline be?
I think Africa's the future, so certainly they'll be here.
Africa, a continent that generates great returns for investors.
AI disruptions in Africa continue at a rapid pace.
Africa has done it again.
Oh, you guys missed out.
Africa finally rose.
Finally.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you next year. Please make Africa prosper.